Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Podcast Room 303. Introducing one co-host with more nuggets than Chick-fil-A, Nick Morahan. Executive producer until we find someone better, Eric Washington. Nobody really knows what he does around here, Nevada Putnam. And now, the single greatest thing to happen to hosting in history, Jermaine Antonio Colon Mendez. On with the show. Ooh, wait. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Podcast Room 303, episode 239. I'm your host, Jermaine Colon Mendez. This is my co-host, Nicholas Morahan, and we have with us Nevada Putnam. How you doing this evening, Nick?
I'm good, man. So in the divisional round of the playoffs, Nevada and I had San Francisco 49ers, Buffalo Bills. That was going to be a big payday, right, to get to the Super Bowl. So that's a 1-in-8 chance, right, for that day. Really a 1-in-16 chance, I guess, that both those teams would make it, or a 1-in-64 chance. In the conference championship, at the beginning of the playoffs, I took, and I said on this podcast last week, took Baltimore Ravens plus 125, AFC champions, Detroit Lions plus 800. So at halftime, I was feeling pretty good about both those bets. And I managed to hit 0 futures coming out of the playoffs. So that's how I'm doing.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's tragic. How you doing this evening, Nevada?
I'm good. We got a forecast this weekend, so we're back on the forecast train. We might get rain. We might get 7 inches of snow. Who knows?
How the fuck is that an option? How can you say you might get rain or you might get 7 inches of snow?
Because it's the only position. It's the only position where you can be wrong at your job 90% of the time and still have a job.
That's not true. Wives are always wrong.
Ooh.
Hey,
no, they're not.
Making friends on this podcast.
Blink twice if you're in danger. Okay. We'll send help eventually. I don't know. Maybe.
Help me.
Never. This was your own choice. How you doing this evening, Jermaine? I'm glad you guys asked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I finished my 21-day fast yesterday and followed it up with pizza and Chick-fil-A.
And ruined 21 days of fasting.
And now I'm back to eating healthy. But I was like, I haven't eaten in 21 days. I am not going to start with like chicken and rice. As Hispanic as I am, there's no chance am I coming back to food to eat something healthy. So Chick-fil-A and pizza yesterday, and boy, oh boy, this morning, last night, it wasn't pleasant, boys. It was not pleasant. It's been a journey. Let's just say I have not eaten today yet.
Well,
tell the folks about your weight loss journey. You're down how many pounds because of this fast?
25 to 30.
25 to 30.
Damn.
Okay. So we'll take 25 on the low end.
I was a heavy motherfucker in Nevada. I was walking around at almost 300, so I could afford to lose probably like 80 pounds. What's crazy is I'm walking around at 300 and I still got wheels, baby. I was running sprints the other day and I was just like, damn. I was like my weight speed adjusted score is through the roof.
You're like that high school, was it high school or middle school lineman who's like 6'8", 330 and ran like a 4.7 or something?
Yeah. And people were shitting on him. Like he didn't run a 4.7. He ran a 5. It was the 100 meter. He ran like a 14, right?
Oh, is that what it was? Okay. Yeah.
14 or 15 second 100 meter. But he's like a 400 pound, 6 foot something human being at like 16, 17. And people were shitting on him.
I know, yeah.
Like, that's not fast. I'm like,
That's
I was like,
fast.
I was like, you guys are idiots. Look at the person he's running next to. That is a skinny, twig-like motherfucker who is streamlined and built to run. And this hefty, beefy boy who can go out there and block grown men right now is keeping up with him. I could not believe like how people responded to that. So I was laughing my ass off on that. But that opens our introduction to how we're doing this week. Today's episode, we'll be getting into pop culture pick'em, top 5 names that could be friends with their names, or sorry, couldn't be friends with their names. An important distinguishment and clarification for certain individuals on this podcast who will not be named. We'll get into a head-to-head review.
Damn it, Eric.
No picks were successfully made last week, so we're holding up our end of the bargain on half. We'll get into what the fuck headline. We have 2 submissions. One of them will be a mystery to Nick and I. We'll do the blind 5 with Nevada, and there's no real main topic today. We're just going to talk about the playoffs as a whole, and maybe look a little forward to the Niners Chiefs championship game. For those of you who don't know, those are the respective winners of the AFC and NFC championship games. But the bulk of our Super Bowl bets and pod will be delivered next week, as is customary, since there is this 2-week break, so that the NFL can continue to put the Pro Bowl on and then bitch about how the Pro Bowl sucks. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into I should probably have shared this here so I could just present it pretty quickly, but nope, I'm not prepared. So give me 1 second, boys. Let's touch base on the head-to-head here. So this is last week's stunning performance by us as a podcast here. We'll start with me at the top. I went 0-3, obviously, as I alluded to. I had a CM Punk Becky Lynch to win the Royal Rumble parlay, and it was all wrong. The odds I took at -220 were for Bayley. I put Becky Lynch. It doesn't matter. CM Punk lost anyways. He actually tore his tricep, so he won't even be at WrestleMania. So if you would have hit a multi-fade on that one, you would have hit. I had a Noah Gray anytime touchdown parlay. He had 5 targets, caught 2 of them, had 8 yards. Wasn't even close. And then on the podcast, I had Chiefs winning the game, but for some reason, when I submitted my head-to-head parlay, I decided, oh, you know what? I'm going Lamar Jackson over 1.5 touchdowns, and I'm going Baltimore first half money line. Those didn't hit. Jared Goff over yards did hit. Doesn't matter. I'm now 111 -4, 22 units on the season. We'll get into Nick's here. Nick had an NHL parlay of one game. It's the same game parlay, 5 picks, all point scorers. And I think he missed on like 3 or 4 of the point scorers.
Yeah, I think I hit on 2. I missed on 3.
Yeah. So that caps out his first loss. Then he submitted an FA Cup anytime goal scorer for Swansea. Jerry Yates. There was 5 goals total scored in this game. None of them by Swansea. And I don't know why I keep saying it like that. What is it? Swansea?
Swansea, yeah.
Yeah, Swansea. And that Bournemouth had 5 goals. Nick could have picked someone from that team and probably hit, but decided to just fade.
So I am actually – this is a pick for the viewers. When I pick an anytime goal scorer, pick the team that he's playing against to win. I picked Brighton and Hove Albion today to beat Luton Town. Brighton at home, Luton Town 17th in the Premier League. I picked Brighton to win. They lost 4-0.
Brighton at home lost 4-0.
Brighton at home lost 4-0 to Luton Town.
Jesus Christ. That's impressive. Nick also had an NFL parlay to round out his 3 bets. It was two pick same game parlays. He had Baltimore -3 and the under. He only hit one of those legs. And then he had Detroit plus 6.5 and Detroit over. So if he would have just picked Kansas City plus points or Kansas City money line, he would have
just left it out.
A nice fat bet. And instead he didn't get that. Nevada went with 2 NHL parlays. instead of combining the puck lines and combining the money lines, he decided to split them evenly, which cost him dearly. He missed both bets due to that reason. So he had Vancouver puck line -1.5, Calgary puck line, and Edmonton money line. That was one parlay. Then he had Calgary puck line -1.5 and Boston money line. Calgary won, but they won 1-0 on a -1.5 puck line. Then frustratedly, he submitted a Deebo Samuel anytime touchdown parlay. Anytime touchdown. And despite scoring 34 points, Deebo Samuel did not score that touchdown. Eric,
1 yard short. 1 yard short.
I saw the play and I was like, yo, that's going to be all Nevada remembers from this game. Eric submitted 3 NBA bets all on Saturday. He live bet Pistons money line at +185. They went on to lose that ball game. Not surprising. Then he had an NBA parlay of Knicks, Philadelphia, and Houston money line. The Philadelphia didn't have Joel Embiid against Denver, so they lost that one. And he had a Lakers, Mavericks, Bucks, Celtics money line parlay, and I believe two of the 4 there missed as well. So just to recap the record for Nick, Nevada, and Eric, since I forgot to do that. Nick is 2-10 plus 6.44 units. Nevada is 3-9 minus 5.95 units. And Eric is 1-11 minus 2.66 units. We're off to a rousing start, boys. We have a total of 7 correct bets.
Still positive.
Maybe we need a fade parlays here, huh?
Still positive.
Let's go ahead and get into pop culture pick'em. As alluded to in the introduction, top 5 names that couldn't be friends with their names. I'm actually first, so I'm going to go ahead and go with Kyle. Don't buy the hype. They're only going to that Kyle stupid event because of the name of the city, not because they actually like each other. Kyles are the worst. They could never be friends with themselves.
That's going to be one. That's got to be 1-1, right? That's a 1-1 in guys that can't be friends with themselves. Great pick.
Yeah. So on to you, Nevada.
I think Nick will like this one. I'm going to go with Travis.
Nick is obsessed with Travis Kelce right now. He cannot get enough of Travis Kelce or Patrick Mahomes. So that's where it's at. And Travis,
honestly, the hatred that I have for those 2 people you named, and we'll just focus on the name Travis Kelce, pales in comparison, is minuscule to the hatred I have for the name that Nevada talks about. Sometimes I think the Putnam family just brings me on trips with them so I can say the things they wish they could say to this person, but they can't say because he's technically family.
Oh, this is a person you guys know.
This is a person. Well, no, not necessarily. But if we were to know a person like this, he knows everything. He knows all 15 of these names. He knows them.
Avid listener of the pod, obviously.
I sure hope not, because it's gonna come to a head eventually. We're gonna fight eventually.
I really hope so now, dude. I might just find him on socials and send him the podcast link for this one specifically.
He'll give you tips and pointers on how we can do it better. I guarantee you, by the time you're done talking to him, you'll want to fight him. You won't. It won't be like, let me have him go fight Nick. It'll be like, I want to fight him.
Look, invite me to one trip. If it is as bad as you say, I'll square up.
Yeah.
Sometimes motherfuckers need to get hit in the face.
All right. My first pick for names that can't be friends with their name, Nick. I'm going to go. I'm going to jump on the grenade here. Knicks can't be friends with Knicks. It's a red flag name. Never met anybody nice named Nick.
Absolutely. Very toxic individuals.
I'm going to go with my second pick. I'm going to go with Ashley.
Ooh, that's a great name. That's a great pick.
If it doesn't have a Y at the end of it, they're friends with no one.
They're loners. I will say this, that Ashley is typically a hot girl name.
Yes.
But man, when they're ugly.
But they cannot be friends with other Ashleys.
They cannot. No, all right, Nevada. Let's get yours.
Let's see here. Where'd my list go? Here we go. I'm gonna go with Keith.
Keith. I think that's a great choice as well.
The trailer park is full of Keiths that can't be friends with themselves.
I'm going with Dick/Richard.
Mm.
And then I was going to put I was going to say Kobe, just because we know Kobe Bryant couldn't be friends with another Kobe. Yeah. But I'm going to go with Chad instead.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah.
Surprised it came off the board this late.
That's why I was just like, I can't believe it was still here. So I didn't even have it on my honorable mentions because I was like, it's going to get picked, bro.
Let's see. This is pick 3. Yeah, pick 3. This one, I just can't see them in the same room together. Channing.
Hey, that's. I think we now that we understand the assignment, we may have to come back to names that could be friends together because we're hitting it out of the park right now. All right, Nick.
I'll go 2 in a row. I'll take the eternal enemy of Chad. I'll take Brad. But also Brad cannot be friends with another Brad.
No,
right?
No.
And Brad's hate Bradley's. Brady's hate both of them.
Brad couldn't hang with Chad.
No. And I'm going to go Kathy on the female side.
Oh, dude, Kathy is such an ugly name, dude. It's like it's almost like nails on a chalkboard, almost like Kathy. And all Kathys are avid smokers. And if 100%. You spell it with a C, you're a cunt. I'm a firm believer. If you spell that with a C, you got to be a cunt. But all right, Nevada, your fourth pick.
Fourth one, I'm gonna say I'll go with a Bruce.
Bruce, like Bruce Wayne.
Like Bruce Wayne, like Bruce Almighty. That's all the Bruces I know.
I'm glad you got another one because
I had to think about that one.
My God, almost went blank.
No, I sure did. I was struggling there for a second. Yeah, Bruce.
So I actually had, for my final 2 picks, I went with two female names. I was going to say Karen, but Karens could absolutely be friends with other Karens, couldn't they?
I don't think so.
I think it's more like misery loves company.
If Karen. 2 Karens meet in the grocery store, like you got to think each Karen has to be, they can be friends with each other if they're not encroaching on each other's territory. A Karen is very territorial.
Okay. So
kind of I'll give you a half credit because like 2 Karens in the same grocery store, not friends. Okay. But if there's a Karen of the Michaels and there's a Karen of there's that thumbs up again. If there's a Karen of the Michaels and then there's a Karen of the Whole Foods or a Karen of the Target, they can all be friends with each other. But don't come in another Carol's Jermaine. That's how you get messed up.
Yeah.
That's a David Attenborough breakdown right there. I like it.
You have the Carols of the Walmart.
If 2 Karens are at Michael's, right? Let's say it's Black Friday, for example, and they don't have the thing that they advertised, and both those Karens went off, they would be friends together in that instance. So that's why I'm going to abstain from Karen. I just wanted to get into the discussion of that. I will go with Rebecca/Becky. And then I will.
Did you pick that name from a certain tour of duty we both had together?
No. No, I didn't even think of that.
Okay.
No, it's just a name I just pictured that couldn't be friends with
Yeah.
other.
No.
It's a pretty good choice, though, especially anecdotally speaking. And then instead of Karen here, I will go with Carol.
Carol. That's
All
a good one.
So that rounds out my 5. Let's go ahead and get into the last 2 here.
Yes, I'm an equal opportunist here, so I'm going to add a female in here. I'm going to go with Hannah.
Hannah. Oh, that's a good one.
Anybody's name who rhymes with banana, they can't be friends with themselves? I don't know.
That popped me. That was good.
Again, it kind of goes back to the whole Bruce argument. I've never seen 2 Bruces together hanging out.
Right.
There's only one Hannah in a group.
I mean, that's a fair assumption, but I don't know very many Hannahs. Speaking of, the few Hannahs I have known, though. CGI, bro.
CGI?
Could get it.
I have had the opposite experience.
I was gonna say I've haven't had that experience.
I've had the complete opposite experience.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I'm just wagging McGee's, bro. All I'm saying.
I mean, they're built like barrels, that's for sure.
Not Donkey Kong's weapon of choice.
Indeed. My final name, I'm gonna go Bryce.
Oh yeah.
That's so close to Bruce.
Is it?
Yeah. Did you just pick that because that's the name of your quarterback?
No, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, he would not be friends with another Bryce.
He seems like such a nice kid, dude.
Maybe.
We
He
have
should
to
be
say
better
that
at
now
quarterback.
because we're so old.
What a nice boy. What a nice young man.
We had to say kid now, right?
Yeah.
Dude, first of all, get him somebody that could run a route other than the ghost of Adam Thielen.
Dude, so I'll get into this right now. For a man that said he wanted to retire a Carolina Panther, it broke my heart to see CMC go, Niners faithful, we're going to a Super Bowl. That broke my heart in 2.
Man, it's also like he's become kind of a douche with San Francisco. It's almost like you adopt that personality.
He's
to
the
be
bad
a
guy
40,
now. He's
to
a
be
heel.
a 49er.
He's a heel.
They all become douches. It's like it's crazy to watch happen, man.
It's the Super Bowl is the douche bowl now.
It's just
with 2 really likable coaches, actually, which is funny.
That is funny. I'll ask the question later when we go. So, but let's go. So the final lists go as such. I had Kyle, Dick / Richard, Chad, Rebecca / Becky, and Carol. Nevada had Travis, Keith, Channing, Bruce, and Hannah Banana. And Nick had Nick, Ashley, Brad, Kathy, and Bryce. Because, every Kathy smokes. And we'll go ahead and get into, we already went over that, Ted. Let's go ahead and get into here, and we'll go what the fuck headline, and we'll start with this. Nevada, take us through it.
All right, first submission of the week. The headline is Stolen Jackie Robinson statue found burned in trash can. And this was, if you guys probably noticed, came out today, January 30th. Jermaine, you submitted this one. You got more on this one?
So really there isn't a ton of context on like the motivation behind it, but sometime during like on Saturday, I believe it was Saturday, maybe a week ago, but someone just walks up to this park in the dead of night and cuts this statue just about ankle high and takes the whole thing. And if you can skim that and tell me where this was, it was Kansas, right? Wichita?
Yep, it was. I saw Wichita in here somewhere, but yeah, Kansas. Yep, there it is. Wichita Fire Department got a call at 8:40 in the morning that a trash can was on fire.
Yeah, and so the search was out for this statue, and they found the statue beyond repair. Like they cannot fix it. They cannot put it back. Like it's cooked, literally, because the people that stole it in the dead of night burned it in a trash can. It was a $50,000 statue that was founded by, man, I forget the name of the league, but it's like a youth rec league down there that that has tons of kids play at these parks and stuff to get them involved in baseball. And so they're trying to figure out it's called League 42. They're trying to find out if it's racially motivated now. They don't know who did it, why they did it. They don't know any of that. They just know 2 individuals came, took it, put it in a truck, and then they found the truck later abandoned. So it's most likely not registered to either of those 2 individuals. But I just thought this was like a crazy, like out of nowhere story. It almost feels like, I'm suspicious of these stories now. It's like, I think someone comes and pays them and to go do this just so they can drum up some racial tensions in America. Because that's the only way they create, sensationalism in America anymore. It's by the use of racism.
I mean, like what? Yeah. What a crazy story. Like this has been up since when? It didn't just get built, did it? It was like
2021.
So like why now? What's the point being made? Like if you wanted credit for this, like you didn't get it.
The motivation, it just seems so silly.
Like people are just like, oh, our statue is gone. Okay, play ball. Like what? Like when did this happen, Nevada? This happened like this week, right?
The article came out today. It doesn't say
stolen
day
last
it
week.
Was.
Yeah, there's no baseball going on. No kids are going to be at this field for another 3-4 months.
Yeah, Thursday morning is when this statue.
I don't get this.
Yeah, I got 3 quick things on this. I saw breezing through the article. First of all, that statue cost $50K that the foundation put up. It looks like it's probably bronze. Is kind of what you can see the picture. They're just sawed off right at the ankles. So second one, does bronze burn? Apparently, I'm guessing. And obviously,
I'm sure it has a melting point. Yeah, because you have to be able to melt it down to make
bronze. Has a melting point starting at 1,675 degrees Fahrenheit.
So that's in a trash can. That seems
so a bit hot.
A bit hot, yeah.
And then the second part that I saw that was kind of disheartening, just because I can understand where this guy's coming from. The nonprofit director, it was his buddy who made the statue just before he died. So a little bit of insult to injury. Where the statue is one thing, but it's like my buddy built this for us, and it doesn't say it was his last piece, but it was just before he died. So that's a kick to the dick for sure.
Oh, but they did say that the mold is still viable,
right?
So that's and it can be created. It can be erected in a matter of months.
Another $50,000 to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so sit with me. I have a theory of why this happened. The gentleman, R.I.P., who made the statue, had recently gotten into sports betting. He took large bets, most likely following podcast Room 303, seeing as we did start around that time.
Knowing he was going to die.
And he thought he could make some money to live a fat life before he passed away. And instead, he passed away with 6 figures in sports betting debt. The director of the nonprofit was approached to pay his buddy's debts, as he has an account with the same bookie. And he says, fuck no. I only recommended him for the bonus. I'm not on the line for his bet.
Right.
Not knowing how bookies work. So flash forward to the year 2024, in the year of our Lord. And the nonprofit will still not pay this man's debts. So they sent a message. We will start with your statue, and we will end with much worse.
So we'll have to follow up this in a year, and if the director is dead, then we'll know that your story had weight behind it.
For sure. Obviously. Dude, I never told a lie. All right, let's get into the next one.
All right. The next one, I'm going to read it real quick before I share it. The headline reads, "Man accidentally sets himself on fire trying to open bag of chips with a lighter."
Bills fan. No?
No. This was it's a little bit.
I don't even want context. Why is
he 75-year-old guy couldn't open it with his hands, so he decided, I'm going to use a lighter, all while sitting in his recliner.
Why didn't he use scissors?
Why didn't the lighter turn off?
Man, if you're sitting in your recliner, you just got what's within arm's reach. He just probably put out a cigarette, and he's like, well, a cigarette ain't going to open it, but a lighter will.
Oh, man.
Just questions. I'm not even gonna ask him. That's just questions. That's all I have for this whole experience.
If I remember, 3rd-degree burns is what he suffered. I think it was 20% of his body is what I saw.
Jesus Christ, 1/5 3rd-degree burns.
Yeah.
The shower was contained by maintenance workers who showered it with a water hose until firefighters arrived on the scene.
Yeah, that's tough phrase.
It's unknown how the fire started, but it may be due to potato chips being extremely flammable due to their oils and starches.
Also, what's the bag made of? What is a potato chip bag made out of?
Probably flammable material. instant flame.
Why do I keep wanting to say polyurethane? And
Scroll down, Nevada, real quick. Scroll down.
Are you talking about the toilet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't use that one because that one's from 22. But yes, there was a toilet that exploded at a Dunkin' Donuts in Florida last year.
Well, we got to keep the theme of the Florida ones, but ridiculous. Okay.
So a typical potato chip bag is made up of multiple layers of polymer materials. The materials are biaxially oriented polypropylene on the inside, low density polyethylene, and BOP in the middle, and an outer. Yeah, it just says BOPP capital, so it's clearly an acronym, and an outer layer of surlyn, a thermoplastic resin. I mean, that all sounds highly
flammable. Yeah.
let's just Google it. Is a potato chip bag flammable? Some chips are flammable because they're carbs and oil.
I think we're asking the wrong question. Let's ask, what's the most flammable chip?
Well, it's obvious. It's a flaming hot Cheeto.
Doritos are highly flammable and can be used as a fire starter.
That's good to know if you're ever in the wild and you happen to be
good.
Traveling with Doritos.
See? We're good.
Man opens chip bag with lighter, sustains burns over 75% of the body. Sorry, I'm on a different website. 75% of his body he got burned. Dalton, Georgia.
Doritos can hold a flame for almost a minute.
That's wild. I can't really find the answer to how flammable that potato chip bags are, but
be careful if you're out in the wilderness and you got a lighter and a bag of Doritos. Proceed with caution because you're going to end up either surviving the night or you're going to burn your body. So,
how did you survive the bear attack, sir?
I lit him on fire with a bag of Doritos.
Dorito flame.
A Dorito top cocktail.
Flaming hot Doritos.
Yep.
Dorito top cocktail. That's a good one as well. All right.
Dorito top cocktail.
Let's get into blind five and then championship review.
Adds a new meaning to flaming hot.
Let's see here. Let me pull up. Why did it disappear again? Stand by. Stand by. And here we go. All right. First one is going to be True Lies.
Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
Schwarzenegger.
True
Lies.
True Lies was in 1992. Can we look that up? 92 or 93? So maybe 90s action movies.
Maybe True Lies. Let me see the cast.
Maybe
real quick.
Jodie Foster or not Jodie Foster. Jamie Lee Curtis movies.
Eliza Dushku. Remember her, bro? I mean, she's not dead. I said that like she's dead. Tom Arnold movies.
You killed all those people? Yeah, but they were all bad.
So I think we've already got it. I think it's Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
Yep.
I don't think I've seen the entirety of True Lies like consecutively.
Oh,
But I've seen like
a crime against America.
I've seen like almost all of it. You know what I mean? I think there's probably missing scenes, but I pretty much know True Lies. I don't know. As far as Schwarzenegger movies go, it's not my favorite.
I'd say it's 3. It's not my worst.
It's
3 or
not the
4.
worst.
3 or 4.
Like I like Twins better than that. with Danny DeVito.
I would say probably 4 if we're ranking Schwarzenegger movies.
All right, well let's do 3. Let's do 3.
Okay. All right.
3.
If Jingle All the Way is on this list, that's number fucking 1 though.
Put that cookie down now.
Quick side note, Jermaine, did you watch My Cousin Vinny? And Nick, did you watch The Devil's Advocate?
No. No.
Totally forgot. Hey man, you gotta text me that. You can't put me on the spot.
I'm gonna.
What is My Cousin Vinny on?
Did you watch that movie you were supposed to watch? That I totally remember what it is?
Oh yeah. I saw that.
Okay.
It was
You didn't write that down. He's not gonna hold himself accountable. What the fuck?
All right. So we did True Lies. Next one will be Predator.
Oh.
And yeah, surprise, you guys already got it.
You're one ugly motherfucker.
Bro, AMC Plus? Ain't nobody got time for that. I'm not watching My Cousin Vinny. Fuck that.
There's AMC Plus?
Predator it's good.
Plus what? All the crappy shows that don't make AMC?
Is Predator better than True Lies though?
Yes. Yeah. Carter, CA got you pushing too many pencils.
I mean, Predator is fun. I don't know if it's better than True Lies, but yeah, we can go.
Yeah. Oof, I don't know. I'm sorry, I forgot we put True Lies at 3. I wouldn't put Predator 2 of Arnold movies.
Yeah,
I would say probably 4.
Let's go 4. Should have put True Lies at 4. My bad, Nick.
Stick around.
I think Predator's fun, but 7.8 out of 10. I don't know what the fuck people are thinking.
I love Predator. Predator's great.
7.8 out of 10. What would you rate it?
I'd say a 78. Yeah, a C plus. I'd give it a C plus.
Oh, dude, it's just all right. I would say it's.
I'd give it. It's a better movie than Killers of the Flower Moon. I'll tell you that for free.
I told you.
There you go.
All right. We talked about this last pod. Did we talk about this last podcast?
Probably. Who keeps
What a waste of time Killers of the Flower Moon was. Nothing happened.
It was good, but it was too long.
I don't think it was good. I don't even think it was good.
It was good.
I think it could have been a tight 120 minutes.
Oh, for sure. And that's too long.
And that's too long.
The problem with the film is that it went an hour too long. If it was condensed, it'd be a good film. It was a good film. The drama was out the window as soon as it started.
100%. You're 30 minutes in and you're like, oh, there's the bad guy. And then he doesn't really develop. There's no character development.
And he doesn't do anything. The bad guy actually doesn't do anything.
Right.
It's everyone else who does something for that guy. First of all, spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, it's 3 hours. You're probably not going to watch it.
Don't watch it. Read the
You're
synopsis.
only watching it because it's, Scorsese. But you can't show the scene of Leo being recruited by De Niro early on to infiltrate this family and then try to tell a suspense type, like thriller type film. You gave us the answer already. If Leo and her met organically, right? They fell in love, then all this stuff started happening, and Leo was like trying to like, I don't know. There was a different way to tell that story to not have been so obvious, but yeah, these old directors have lost it.
What if we just tell them the plot? That way they'll get it.
There's no drama. You can't tell a suspense film with no suspense.
So Nevada tried to bring up to me that Scorsese used to keep his movies short, aka The Godfather and all this. I said, no, Scorsese has always done these long and drawn out movies. He was making 2-hour movies when it was like a tidy 58 was the average movie. Like, I'm sure our dads and moms were watching Scorsese movies and they're like, Jesus Christ, this is long. Somebody probably said The Godfather could have been a tidy hour and 15. Somebody has got to have said that.
Goodfellas was 2 hours and 25 minutes. And
Goodfellas is like
90.
Goodfellas is an amazing movie.
No, first of all, that's like a 9.1, 9.2 out of 10.
Right.
Like, I fucking love Goodfellas.
Right.
But it's still 2 hours and 25 minutes.
That's true.
That's a long fucking time.
You forget about this is typical Scorsese. You forget about in Goodfellas, they literally go over like Ray Liotta's entire childhood. You're like, why do we need that in the movie? Just be like, I always wanted to be a gangster from the time I was 5 and show a 5-minute clip of him being 5 and then cut to present day.
Yeah, a little movie montage. But anyways, now that we've been sidetracked during this Blind 5, Nevada, please get us back on course.
Yes. Next movie option will be Kindergarten Cop.
Kindergarten Cop is a good. I like that movie.
My name is Detective John Kimball, and I love my car.
Is Kindergarten Cop better than True Lies and Predator, though?
Yes.
It is? Okay.
Yes.
Number 2, right?
I just don't know what I'm going to put number 1.
I don't.
Nevada picked this category because he knows my even playing field for all of Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. And
they're all 3 on his list. They're all tied for 3. There's no 1.
Man, I'll put it at 2. Kindergarten Cop is a great movie because it first showed that Arnold can be actually funny.
It's fantastic. I thought it was fantastic. That was more my speed of Arnold movie. Not that I did not like Predator. Predator was tight.
There will be no more. There'll be no more. Mr. Kimball, can I go to the bathroom?
But it's like his voice is comedic in its own right. Like he was meant to do comedy.
It hasn't changed. He's lived in the United States for 60 years, and it hasn't even like reduced. He has to take acting lessons just to keep it like this.
The accent has gotten thicker in his old age.
It's thicker. I'm the governor of California.
He was originally a milkshake accent. Now he's a malt accent.
That's right. Accent.
Yeah. All right. Next one, we're gonna go with. Let's go with Twins.
Oh,
I love Twins, dude.
Nevada's gonna force me to put Commando at 5, dude.
Dude, this is what I was trying to say about these other movies. Like they should be bumped down. I was trying to say it.
Twins is such a fantastic movie.
Twins is 5.
Twins is 5. Okay.
Twins is 5, and we'll say we had to cut it down because Danny DeVito is only so tall.
All right.
All right. And you're putting Total Recall at 1.
Oh, Total Recall is 1. Yes, 100%. I'm completely fine with that. I'm completely fine with that.
Space titties, eyeballs popping out of his.
But sweetie, you can't kill me. We're married. Consider that a divorce. You're not you. You're me. Get it?
So most of these movies, right? Because I couldn't watch as I've said before on other podcasts, but if this is your first time listening, my mom followed the rating system. And I honestly appreciate it. But I didn't see Total Recall until like 2015.
That would be good. That would be dope.
Or something like that. And I watched it and I was just like, holy crap, this movie sucks.
Oh no.
But it was awesome. You know what I mean? Like it was like the Mortal Kombat movie, right? The Mortal Kombat movie, not the newest one, but the one that came out in the 90s was awesome. Today, it's awful, right? And so I watched Total Recall and I was just like, damn, this movie is really overhyped. But I also said, like, if I would have watched that in 1987, Total Recall would have been fucking the shit. And so I view it from that prism. And also, I watched that one after I watched the new Total Recall.
Oh, terrible. Yeah, that's a bad decision. Mark Morahan had two. Yeah, go.
Sorry, go ahead.
You go.
Okay, what I would say about this is if that movie was not named Total Recall,
great movie.
Would have been a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
But I watched the Arnold one after I think Colin Farrell, right? And I was just like, why is this name the same?
No, I don't know. I don't know. Mark Morahan had a rating system for 2 movies. He had movies he wanted to watch, and it didn't matter if I was in the room or not, and movies he didn't want to watch, and there was no way I could have watched any of those. So that's my love of 80s action films. Is my dad was just like, we're going to watch this. I want to watch this. So
like watching Die Hard every year.
100%. Yeah.
First of all, Die Hard is as good as people say it is.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
Yes. It just drops. I don't think Die Hard 2 is all right, I guess.
I like the series, but they progressively, just because of how ridiculous they are, but it gets more and more. It's like Die Hard was the original Fast and Furious.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Because he jumps on like at Die Hard 4 or 5, and I think it's the one with Justin Long in it. He's like a computer geek. He jumps onto a jet.
Yeah.
In F-16, he physically jumps onto the F-16, is holding on, and the F-16 starts spinning because I think the wing got clipped or something, or maybe it was just spinning to get him off. And I'm like,
underneath like a highway overpass.
Yeah, like one of those spaghetti bowls where all the highways.
Yep.
And so this plane is going down, and my man's just holding on for dear life. He finally gets spun off after like holding on for 30 seconds, which, first of all, that's fucking impressive in its own.
That's strength, yeah. That's
then,
old man strength.
You're like, oh, Bruce Willis is dead. The bad guy wins. He just got flung off an F-16. No, because the missile hits the highway. A semi's like long trailer it's falling off the edge of it, and for some reason, the part that where the actual 18-wheeler and the semi meet, that part's blown wide open, and he slides down with one arm. Yep. He's just sliding down the trailer and just lands on the ground, and like is like and stands up and walks away.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's amazing. It's absolutely ludicrous, but that's why you watch action movies, because that is just preposterous. We have slowly started reeling stuff in on action movies, but that was like, to me, peak like shenanigans. Like he's like, I know you're supposed to suspend disbelief, but how am I supposed to suspend disbelief on that?
Ridiculous.
Yep.
Shout out Bruce Willis with hair though in the original Die Hard.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's still the craziest part. Also, bald Bruce Willis is way more of a badass than Bruce Willis with hair. And Bruce Willis with hair is a fucking badass. So it's so crazy. But the final list for the Blind Five was Total Recall at 1, Kindergarten Cop 2, True Lies 3, Predator 4, and Twins 5. And to be honest, looking at this list,
I don't hate that list.
I think we kind of nailed that list as much as we beat ourselves up.
Yep. I don't hate it at all.
All right. So We're getting into the final topic of today's podcast. It's the AFC NFC championship games between the Baltimore Ravens hosting the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers hosting the Detroit Lions. Boys, you know the drill. 2 takeaways from the games. We'll get into it. We'll start with you here, Nevada.
Alrighty. So I just broke it down, one for each game. Walking away from the KC Baltimore game, maybe it's a little bit of jaded colored glasses being in the same division as KC, but that game was reffed terribly. KC, I don't think KC got a ton of calls, but a lot of non-calls, especially DPIs, especially when Baltimore was really starting to move stuff down the field. Lamar was starting to throw the ball down, and there was one, I think it was on, I can't remember if it was OBJ. It might have been OBJ because we sent it in the group text about, 2 ACLs down. He's lost a step, but the defender had his right arm the entire time. No call. So again, it could be a little bit of jaded, but just the entire reffing in that game, it kind of took away from it. It was a boring game in general, but
you put the refs on the field between side judges, back judges, and head ref, who literally call the fewest penalties that the Chiefs are worst at. Like, who was the head referee for this game?
I can get you that answer. Keep going.
He was number one. He was the number one let him play ref in the NFL this year. Right? They put refs on the field that didn't call holding penalties. Right? Chiefs number one in holding, or number one in offensive holding. Right? They put refs on the field who didn't call defensive pass interference. Right? It's funny that you say that, Nevada, about the OBJ thing, because the OBJ play on that ball looked eerily similar to the highlight that made OBJ famous, right?
Right.
Where he's being twisted around and he reaches up and makes some insane circus catch. This time he didn't do it because he's 32-year-old OBJ.
Off like 3 ACLs, 1 Achilles,
right,
and a couple boat trips.
But still, the key thing that made that catch impressive, is the Dallas Cowboys defenders were interfering with OBJ. The same thing didn't change here. He was interfered with on that. The television broadcast had the audacity to feature Gene Scarator, their freaking NFL rules analyst, say on Lamar's interception to seal the game that he didn't see contact. As he's talking, he says he didn't see contact before the ball got there. And as Gene is talking, you see 2 Chiefs defenders smush the Baltimore wide receiver, and then the ball gets Isaiah Likely get picked off and come back. There was also another Isaiah Likely call that he was going down the field, and the exact same play that got called on the Eagles that won the Chiefs the Super Bowl, Isaiah Likely gets his hip completely spun around, doesn't make the catch, refs go uncatchable ball, right? Even though if he would have been allowed to reach out for it, it would have been a catch. The Chiefs offensive line took a Ravens defensive lineman, buried him into the ground, pushed his helmet in, and was slamming on his helmet. So Ravens come to the defense of their guy. The refs break it up. Then Travis Kelce is jawing back at the Ravens. So Kyle Van Noy comes up and chest bumps and touches face masks with Travis Kelce. And it's a 15-yard unnecessary roughness. What is going, like, it was almost like, what is going on? Now, there were a couple of, I get that the Ravens were upset and the Ravens were angry, but there were a couple of plays you can't have. Right after that, Kyle Van Noy play, Ravens guy went headhunting on Patrick Mahomes, and you can't do that on any quarterback in the NFL, let alone Patrick Mahomes. Hit him way in the head, roughing the passer call, 100% true, right? The Zay Flowers one, where Zay Flowers makes an incredible run, and then you push the defender down and spin the ball on him. What are you doing? You won. You're at the 5-yard line. You're about to score a touchdown to turn the game. The momentum is going in your direction. Don't ruin it by being an idiot. When on that play, Zay Flowers, if you would have cut one side and then tried to run for the corner of the end zone, you probably would have scored. But instead, you tried to do all this and allowed 4 Chiefs to get there and tackle you.
What you just described is a lot of how the Patriots had their dynasties, right?
Oh, 100%.
The other teams shoot themselves in the foot.
Well, because you get frustrated, I bet, as a team.
Yeah.
Right. The Ravens were frustrated, right?
Absolutely.
Because there's taunting calls going on the Ravens. Meanwhile, Travis Kelce is just going off. And every catch he makes, he's taunting. And he's pointing in the guy's face. And he's throwing the ball down.
Yeah, so the ref is Sean Smith. With him, road teams win at the number 1 highest rate. He penalizes home teams no way any other ref does, right? So he was put on the Ravens Chiefs game. So the last 3 years with other refs, home teams win 55.9%. But with Smith, home win rates dropped to 40.8%. With other refs, home teams cover the spread 50.1%. But with Smith, home cover rates dropped to 37.0%.
I don't know if you said it, Jermaine, but out of 24 refs since 2018, he is number 1 in road team win percentage.
Yeah, I mean, this is a whole thread put together by podcast favorite Warren Sharp. So if you want to go check it out, go ahead. His tweet is from January 23rd of this year, 9 a.m. And the first line reads, "The NFL pushed the panic button." Look, this is the second most obvious fixed game in NFL playoff history, in my NFL playoff history. Obviously, number 1 is still Saints Rams. The Ravens may disagree with me, and that's perfectly fine. But when Twitter is united on how bad that call was in the Saints-Rams game, you ain't beating that, bro. It sucks that it was an AFC championship, just like it was an NFC championship. It's tragic. And you hate to see this game, this matchup be ruined by that. But it's time for everyone to understand that they are going to fix their golden boy, because ratings are driven by dynasties. As much as people say they don't like dynasties, as much as everyone has turned on Patrick Mahomes, as much as everyone has turned on Travis Kelce, people love dynasties. That's why the Golden State Warriors were awesome. That's why the Patriots were awesome. That's why the Giants of the early 2010s were awesome in baseball. That's why the Stros, as much as people hate the Stros, they love rooting against them more. So as long as you understand that this is probably going to be the case with Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, I think you'll save yourself a lot of consternation.
Well, we've said this before, right? The NFL is a business, right? One person you haven't mentioned, and I'll be the one to mention it with the Masters in Sports Business on the podcast. You have gotten so many new viewers this year from the introduction of one person to the Kansas City Chiefs. And it ain't a player and it ain't a coach. It's Taylor Swift. There are females in my life who never followed football, who are now knowledgeable about football and excited about football games because Taylor Swift has introduced them to the game of football. If you can put her on the Super Bowl, whose ratings have declined the last 5 years, you're going to make insane money about that. You don't even have to pay her to be at the Super Bowl.
She's going of her own volition, as far as we know. You don't really know.
There's already been articles detailing how Taylor Swift can make it from her Tokyo show Friday night to the Super Bowl Saturday night or Sunday night, excuse me.
It's going to be like a Taylor version of Santa and NORAD, just tracking her flight.
Bro, that's so funny. That's funny as fuck. So just a little more on Pat.
North Korea has the opportunity to do the most hilarious thing possible.
Oh, that's funny, but that's not that funny. Mahomes is 10-1 against the spread, 9-3 straight up as an underdog. I mean, that should tell you everything you need to know. He's only been an underdog 12 times in his career. Yeah, I did say
that's not playoffs, by the way, everybody. That's
his career, as an underdog. And he's opened as an underdog versus the San Francisco 49ers team, which I don't fucking understand.
I bet it already.
Auto bet Kansas City money line. Yeah. The other thing is I understand why NFL is perpetuating the Taylor Swift thing, and it's awesome because it's getting dads with daughters. The daughters are getting into it. Like, it's awesome because men with significant others who always hate that they always want to watch football now watch football, right? So, and the NFL tapped into a 50% demographic that they didn't have before. So it's all smart from a business perspective. Just show her a little less. That's the only thing you got to do. Like, the only time you should show her is if Travis Kelce catches the football. Yeah. And if he
scores. Show her celebrating.
Well, that's catching the football. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
If he catches the ball 16 times, then you get 16 Taylor Swift appearances. I just don't think we should just be showing her every single second. It was the same complaint I had with Aisha Curry. It's the same complaint I have with showing people's parents in the crowd. When people's parents are there in the crowd, it is obsessive how many times they show them. It's obsessive. I just don't get it. No, that was good.
I was gonna say I can't wait to see the over/under bets for how many times Taylor is on the screen for Super Bowl.
It's gonna be an awesome prop bet. So that was your first takeaway, Nevada. You got any others?
Yeah, just real quick. I'll make it quick for the Detroit-San Francisco game. I'm a big fan of what Detroit found as far as their identity. Hopefully they can go into next year and not fall flat, but they definitely have found their identity. They're leaning into it. They just need to close it out, and they'll be a force to be reckoned with. And I'm sure Nick probably knows this, but McCaffrey and Shanahan connection part 2. Can the sons do what the fathers did 25 years ago?
Oh shit, I didn't even realize that Mike Shanahan coached
Ed McCaffrey. Yep.
I didn't know his first name. Thank you for the save there, Big Phil. I was like,
you're good. An even crazier connection is that Ed McCaffrey has the 2 Super Bowls Nevada just talked about. He also has another Super Bowl that he won with the San Francisco 49ers.
That's crazy.
CMC Super Bowl MVP.
Prop bet? Oh, dude, you know I love me some CMC, bro. CMC is the MVP this year. I don't understand why we're giving it to another quarterback. He had No,
go ahead.
I was just going to say he had over 2,000 scrimmage yards and like 20 touchdowns from a running back position. Brock Purdy hasn't thrown more than 1 touchdown the playoffs in a playoff game this year. I'm not saying he's played bad. I think Brock Purdy has played I think he's played pretty freaking well. I'm just saying, like, go ahead.
I completely agree with you. There should be a separate, whether you want to call it division or award for quarterbacks, because MVP is just quarterbacks. Make it, I don't know, the freaking Tom Brady award or whatever. But it's going to sound petty because they're pro athletes, but it's not fair to everybody else because it's going to a quarterback. It just is. That's the way it is.
Always.
Give it to the actual offensive. Now they do it a little bit better with like offensive player of the year. But still, that offensive player is really the MVP. Have the quarterbacks have their own separate MVP conversation and award.
I agree. It should be more like the NCAA. Just give me the Jerry Rice Award for best wide receiver. Give me who's the best?
Sure.
Who do you think is the best running back in NFL history? That might be a loaded question to ask right now. We'll move on.
You'd probably give it to Peyton just because he's gone. It's kind of like a memorial trophy, like
Walter Payton. That's why he's a man of the year. He has that man of the year thing. That's awesome.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I would say Jim Brown.
Yeah.
Running back award. Yep. That's a safe bet. No one's really going to get upset. You know what I mean? Because
the Tony Gonzalez tight end of the year.
That's got. I love me a Mexican tight end. All right, Nick. You got any takeaways for us?
Yeah. I mean, okay. So, the the refs blew the Baltimore thing, but I have not. Okay, this is where I finally came to terms with the fact that I know why I call Lamar Jackson a running back. I watched 4 quarterbacks play on Sunday, and 3 of them threw. Like, you looked at the balls Jared Goff was throwing, he got them into spaces where wow, right? Even Brock Purdy, the touchdown that Brock Purdy threw, he was off his back foot and he had enough to like fit it in a gap, right? That's not to talk about Patrick Mahomes. Is we all know Patrick Mahomes' arm strength. Lamar Jackson floats balls. He doesn't put power on balls, and he just he always throws with this, like, it looks like he's throwing like under the ball, like he's lifting it up, and that's great when you have wide receivers in space.
He's a touch thrower. Yeah, he's
a touch thrower, right? There were plenty of throws I saw with Baltimore where if he fits that, if he throws it down, that's a completion in yards. But he floated it, and Kansas City converges, and it's less of a game than it could have been. Right?
100%, yeah.
So that's my frustration. Baltimore got out of hand in that game, right? I thought they played undisciplined, but that's Baltimore, right?
They had no composure.
No composure, right? On offense and defense. I get it. Zay Flowers is playing in the biggest game he's ever played in his life. He went to Wake Forest, didn't he? Wake Forest? Boston College. Even worse. Yeah, he went to Boston College. Man's never even like sniffed a winning season at Boston College, right? Like, the Ravens just lost their composure, and therefore they lost the game. The Chiefs don't impress me, right? They don't impress me. They're not impressive. Every single one of these games, the Chiefs gave the ball repeatedly and repeatedly, even with the refs' help, back in the Bills' hands, back in the Ravens' hands, right? They gave teams an opportunity to beat them, and teams didn't. It wasn't Andy Reid's play calling. It wasn't Patrick Mahomes' game management. It wasn't Travis Kelce. It wasn't this vaunted Chiefs defense. It was the fact the other team couldn't take advantage of the situation. And they went 3 and out. The Ravens constantly being blitzed all night, right? Constantly blitzed by the Chiefs. Thank you, Jermaine. Zay Flowers never won more than 6 games in college, right? The lowest he won was 3. He's playing in the biggest game he's ever played in, right? You got to have a better head in your shoulders, right? Kansas City all day long. Blitz, 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 right? Where are the screens? Where are the slants? It looked like every play they went down by 10, and you just saw the Ravens be like, oh, I guess we'll run all goes. I guess we'll just run everybody deep. And then Lamar will scramble for his life, and maybe he'll be able to make something happen, which he didn't. Right? That's what I gotta say about the Ravens game. One funny thing about the Ravens game after the Kyle Van Noy penalty, I don't think I've ever heard this before on an NFL telecast. The stadium in Baltimore was so loud after the Kyle Van Noy penalty, chanting bullshit, that they had to cut the stadium, like the in-stadium crowd noise from the broadcast. And you just had to listen, and you just had to listen to them talk. That was pretty funny. Lions game. Holy cow. San Francisco fans should be rubbing
themselves.
Rubbing their rabbit's foots, clutching their pearls. This Super Bowl is going to be a Super Bowl of who wants to lose it more. Right? This Super Bowl may finish 3-0. Right? If Kansas City refuses to run the ball, which we saw against Baltimore, and San Francisco doesn't run the ball, right? Like, it refuses to get the ball to Christian McCaffrey.
Kansas City ran the football, bro. 32 attempts.
How many yards? Quit it.
I mean, 89 yards, but they didn't abandon it.
Always
classic Kane, bro.
Classic, dude.
89 yards. They didn't run well, but they
run
ran
well
30 times. So that was one of my takeaways. I'm gonna throw it in here, and then you can finish. The Ravens, who led the league in rushing attempts, only ran the ball 6 times with their running backs.
And it's a close game. It wasn't like they were getting blown out. You're 10 points halfway through the third quarter. There's a lot of time left.
Run the football. You're not completing passes right now. Run the fucking football.
You know what actually made me feel good? Made me actually feel something. I was more invested in this Kansas City Baltimore Ravens game than I was in a Carolina Panthers game all season, just because I didn't want to see Patrick Mahomes go to the Super Bowl again. Doesn't it feel like since the Netflix quarterback special that Patrick Mahomes has just become insufferable?
That is your stance. That's correct. Yes.
That's my stance, and I'm going to stick to it. Before he was likable, now he has just become insufferable.
Yeah. What is kind of a thought that I've had, because he's gotten kind of annoying, and I will say, but he's fantastic. So it's kind of like, if you're that good, you can do whatever the fuck you want, kind of. But his wife has stepped back from the spotlight because they started showing Taylor Swift more instead of her. His brother has stepped back from the spotlight because
sexual assault will do that to you.
Yeah, my guy was in legitimate hot water, right? So now people can legitimately focus on just Patrick Mahomes. And I feel like people are starting to recognize that, he's kind of a shithead. But so is Tom Brady. And we all ended up loving Tom Brady.
I don't. No, I don't love Tom Brady. No, I think he's a dick.
No.
I think he's a dick.
Crazy.
I think he's a dick. The fact that he's replacing Greg Olsen on Fox is a crime.
But a lot of people don't like Greg Olsen.
Why? Because his big ass forehead?
I don't. I think they don't like him.
Big ass forehead, his eyes are too close together. I'll take that. He's a towhead.
Same way they don't like Joe Buck, which I don't understand why. Joe Buck is a good announcer.
Joe Buck carries Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman could fill in for Joe Biden right now with how senile he is, right? Troy Aikman just sits in the booth, and people thought Tony Romo was bad. Maybe we should stop hiring Cowboys quarterback commentators. They get hit in the head too much.
Everyone loves Tony Romo.
I don't like Tony Romo.
Jesus Christ. You don't like any quarterback.
I don't like Tony Romo. Any quarterback? I like quarterbacks. I like Cam Newton.
You like Cam? You don't like Tom Brady, but you like Cam Newton?
100%.
Cam Newton sucks.
Cam Newton does not suck.
He's a fantastic football player, but Cam Newton sucks.
Tom Brady sucks.
I'd rather have Tom Brady than Cam Newton.
Drew Brees sucks.
Drew Brees is the nicest fucking guy ever.
Drew Brees runs friggin' Ponzi schemes to steal middle-class money.
I don't know if that's real or not, but that's funny. Isn't that Brett Favre?
Yeah, Brett Favre actually.
Yeah.
All right, Nevada, you had another takeaway from Kansas City, Baltimore, because Nick is distracted.
Yeah, when Nick was talking specifically about Lamar, the one thing that popped out to me watching the game was how, what's the best way to put this? Lamar seemed to kind of lose his balls as far as like his mojo. He was holding on to the ball and he wasn't taking the open chances to run. He was basically, to me, it looked like he was waiting for that perfect wide open pass. And dude, it ain't going to happen in the NFL, and it sure as hell ain't going to happen on the championship game to get to the Super Bowl. You gotta press it. You gotta show like you are the league MVP, and he didn't do it. That right there is the reason why Lamar Jackson struggles in the playoffs, right? And I guess, I'll make this one of my takeaways. You're playing the best coaches. You're playing the best teams. You're playing the best defenses who are coming specifically to stop you because they are told regularly that you are the most valuable player. Lamar Jackson, every time he goes into the playoffs, is so determined to prove people wrong that he is a quarterback that he forgets that his best weapon is spontaneity, it's creativity, and it's the ability to make defensive
Defenses pay when linebackers turn their back to run with wide receivers. When cornerbacks turn their back to run with wide receivers, they have no fucking clue where Lamar Jackson is. That's why he's been so successful. In the playoffs, Lamar Jackson refuses to do that. He refuses to take advantage of it. He should go in saying, I'm going to get 100 yards rushing by myself every single playoff game. I'm going to make them respect me as a rusher. And once they do, and they're playing contain and they have 5, they have quarterback spies. Now you've got those windows that you're used to throwing into. Now your touch throws can get behind a L'Jarius Sneed, best man corner in football right now, right? But he's not doing that. And secondly, Baltimore, get him a fucking wide receiver. Also, Todd Monken, go fuck yourself. I'm so sick of hearing about this new awesome offense that you're going to run with them. You ran the ball 6 times. 6 times. You had a design quarterback run to start the game, and Lamar Jackson gained like 20 fucking yards on that carry. And you stopped using designed runs.
We're just like, you know what we'll do if they blitz? We'll blitz harder.
Bro, it's unreal. It's unreal. Spags. How many different defensive formations did Spags use against the Ravens? My man came in with a game plan that was electric. It was lights out. The Baltimore Ravens gave up 17 points. Lamar, attack the holes. You are the most dynamic runner in football right now. Is that breaking news, Nevada? Oh,
no,
you're just telling me. Yeah, T. Higgins. I was wondering if they said they weren't going to franchise tag him. No, T. Higgins, it's a great option. I mean, they love unhealthy wide receivers. He's perfect for Baltimore. So I'm blown away by it. Secondly, last takeaway from me. Nick, did you have another one?
I was just going to talk about Detroit.
Yeah, so I'll start it off. Detroit did what got them there all year. It didn't work. I don't know if it's necessarily the wrong call, but it's bad. It was bad execution, right? 4th and 3, maybe you're struggling running the football. If you're struggling throwing the football, so maybe, you take the points, like read the room. But the man lived and died by what he does. And you got to respect it, but at the same time, it's like, fuck, it's easy to second guess. But if he converts one of those 4th downs, nobody's saying anything. Also, why the fuck didn't you go for the touchdown at the end of the half? So it's like, you say you live and die by the sword, but when you're picking and choosing, you can recover from not scoring at the end of the half, vice a 4th down in the 4th quarter where you may only get one more possession, which is exactly what fucking happened. He only got one more possession. So I don't know. Look, the Lions overachieved. They weren't expected to get here. And now the Detroit Lions are going to be favorites. And Dan Campbell said it. And it's going to be interesting to see how that team plays from that perspective. And they lucked out by keeping Ben Johnson. And Aaron Glenn, because nobody's interested in defensive coordinators anymore, is still there. So we'll see what happens. But Green Bay ain't going nowhere. Kirk Cousins is going to come back. Kirk Cousins would have won this division. Yeah, I mean, dude beat the 49ers on Monday Night Football by himself. Justin Jefferson was gone. Like Kirk Cousins, if he comes back to Minnesota, that's going to be a very interesting division, especially if Caleb Williams gets drafted there. But it's easy to say take the points, but it's also hard to defend not taking the points. And so I'll let you go, Nick, because I know you have something to say on that.
My frustration is that, yes, it's what got Dan Campbell here, but we've seen 1 to 2 times a game, Dan Gamble has
no, that's his new name, dude. Dan Gamble.
He's taken the big risk 1, maybe 2 times in a game, right? And that's what's got him here. And I'm fine with the aggressiveness. You're up by a bunch of points. I think it was You might have been up by 17 at the time.
Yeah,
Go for that
24-7.
Go for that.
It was 21-7 at the end of the second.
Yeah, 21-7. Go for that fourth down. Fine. Jared Goff puts a ball that should have been caught by a wide receiver, right? How many times have we heard wide receiver lets quarterback down? Baker Mayfield would be in the Super Bowl right now if his wide receivers could catch, right? I'm sure they stocked up enough catches to get Baker Mayfield to the Super Bowl. That's how it works, right? Transitive property, right? So you don't go for it. You go for it, then it doesn't work. Fine. You're up. You're still up. You drive down to field goal range and you say, hey, I'm Dan Campbell. I'm Dan Gamble. I'm going to go for it again, right? Go for it. Not a very good play call dialed up. You roll Jared Goff out on a blitz. He throws a lackluster pass because he's getting hit. Wide receiver isn't even looking at it. Fine. Still a lot of game left. Okay, so you've bundled it twice now. We are a gambling podcast, and we know this, right? You don't chase your losses. You get put in a position. You've done it now twice. Now, guess what, Dan? You're in uncharted territory. You have a chance. After all this, your Lions team, which was the most unlucky team in the second half, drop balls. A ball that bounced off the face mask of a cornerback that should have been a certain pick that energized a crowd and an offense. If you want to talk about one of the worst crowds in football, we saw that Kansas City games that I've watched and San Francisco games I've watched. If you can bag them early, it takes the crowd out of it, right? But if you let the crowd get back, they're loud. Baltimore, you have to play with the crowd the whole game. Baltimore fans are crazy, right?
Insane.
Pittsburgh fans are crazy, right? There's certain teams where the fans will just be going, all Bills fans, crazy, right? You have to deal with them all game, right? Eagles fans, crazy, all game, right? Either booing or yelling. They're going to be doing something all game.
One of the two teams is getting yelled at.
Right. That stadium in San Francisco was quiet until Ayuk caught that ball, and now it's big. It's good. I think there are probably 80,000, 85,000 people there. Now they're all screaming and yelling. Then you have Detroit go out, a 3-and-out. San Francisco gets the ball back. They drive down. You stop them, they kick a field goal, right?
Tie game, 24-24.
24-24. You go down. I think San Francisco, when Detroit was driving, San Francisco was up or was down, right? At that final drive, right? They were down by 7.
They were down by 10 on the one that you
down by 10. Thank you.
When they needed to kick the field goal, that's
down by 10.
Upset. Yeah,
right. Drive down. What are you doing? You have 3 timeouts left. You've planned it perfect down to the 2-yard line. There's plenty of time left. There's about a minute 15 left on the clock. That used to be an issue in the old NFL. It's not. And especially with the chunk plays you've been getting all game long from this bullshit soft coverage that San Francisco is playing, and your wide receivers and your tight ends just able to find seams in this to get not only just catch the ball 15 yards downfield because Jared Goff has a fucking cannon for a right arm, right? But also he gets it there in enough time that Amon-Ra St. Brown is able to turn and he's going to go. And also you have Jahmyr Gibbs, who's rendering David Montgomery, who is a very good running back, irrelevant because he is that good of a running back, right? You can play this game. You game planned it so well. I feel like that Instagram soccer rant, you know what I'm saying? Where he's like, you have the best boots, you stay in the best hotels. How the fuck do you miss this goal? You get it all the way down to the 2-yard line. And then you say, you know what? Let's do what got us here. No, Dan. No. Running the ball from the 2-yard line with 1:15 left is not a gamble. It's an idiotic play. No analytics said that was the right play. And if you're going to run it, you have one of the best offensive lines in football. Run it inside. Don't run an outside zone straight into the teeth of the defense against the best front 4 in football.
Or if you are going to run an outside zone, don't run it with David Montgomery. Run it with your fast fucking rookie. I know he fumbled to get you there, and that's probably why they gave it to Monty instead. But like, Strengths. Strengths.
Everybody in that situation expected you to run. What did I say in the group chat at the time? When everybody expects you to run, the best coordinators, and Ben Johnson is one of the best coordinators, play action pass. If he would have play action and rolled Goff out, Goff could have trotted into the end zone.
I'm coming in with 3 tight ends, a fullback, and a running back.
And you're running that outside zone?
I have Jared Goff lining up under center. I have him turning, faking the handoff to David Montgomery, the fullback and the running back hitting the hole together. And I have the tight end on the left, the backside coming across the middle of the fucking end zone. And I have the 2 tight ends on the strong side that we're running to leak out. One run, a drag route just past line of scrimmage, and one run towards the front pylon. Run towards the front pylon, stop while the other one keeps running that drag route. And then that other homeboy should come in. And guess what? If you're a good play caller, you're a good play designer, one of those fullbacks or running back is leaking out the backside.
Yeah, I will say this, right? The third quarter Lions you felt for them because they were the most snake-bitten team I think we have ever seen in a playoff game that I can remember, at least. The Niners didn't really change anything. They didn't really change anything.
They were just not. They were not completing the plays they completed in the first half.
Right.
Well, and you saw it on the sideline. I think it was after the Lions got up 21-7 or maybe 24-7. And I think it was CJGJ, Gardner Johnson, on the sidelines waving to the crowd. It's like, dude, you're not even at halftime yet. They were mentally at that point starting to check out. We got this in the bag. They ain't coming back in the second half. We crushed it. Game's over. It's only a 30-minute game. Surprise, there's a second half. There's a third quarter. You still got to show up.
Exactly what Nevada wanted out of the Ravens. He got out of the 49ers.
Exactly, yeah.
That's why there was, that's why the Saints traded him. That's why the Eagles didn't want to pay him money. I mean, that's what that edge, that attitude, that moxie, you know what I mean? It's kind of toxic, sure, but that's what makes him a good fucking football player. But you still got to keep playing. And God, you feel for Detroit, but that was very much a team that had not been here before, right?
Absolutely.
Rookie tight end, third-year wide receiver, rookie running back has that costly fumble, right? Because you're not going with David Montgomery because Gibbs just has another motor. Aiden Hutchinson, what is this, his second year? Second or third year. So that's your rookie DN, right? And you guys didn't make the playoffs last year. Like, it was very much a team that had not experienced a moment like that before. And what's sad is that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is one of those players who had experienced it before, and he set the tone for that team to let up. And that was kind of that breakdown. Oh, just that throw at the end of the second half. Jared Goff drops back, hits his back foot. That's when the ball's supposed to come out. But timing was disrupted because of the pass rush coming off the right tackle's side. So Jared Goff does what he's supposed to do. 2 hands on the football, two side steps to the left to open up space for him to hit this throw on Amon-Ra, who's breaking beautifully into the end zone. And Jared Goff, because he had to take those 2 steps because of the edge rush, his ball, if he would have dropped and let it go, maybe Lamar style with touch, so that way it drops into Amon-Ra's hand, and just taken the hit, he would have dimed it out perfectly. But he took those 2 steps to the left, and the ball, if you notice, when Amon-Ra is breaking into the end zone, the ball is left of Amon-Ra. And it's literally the gap between Amon-Ra and the football is the gap that Goff moved from when his back foot hit and a timing rhythm throw is supposed to come out, and he sidestepped to the left, and I was like, oh my God, Jared Goff wants that one fucking back. And honestly, I didn't say it, but it was at that moment where I was just like, fuck. I was like, fuck. That is a dagger throw. There is a drastically different feeling heading into a locker room being up 28-7 than settling for the field goal and going in 24-7.
Absolutely.
It was a crazy game. Look, man, that 49ers Detroit Lions game was fucking awesome. It was awesome. And, you know, there are some calls that you could probably harp on, but they still were there. 34-31. They had every opportunity. I mean, hell, even that onside kick was a beautiful fucking kick by Badgley. I mean, oh my God. I mean, it was illegal touching because he hit it at the 9.5-yard line instead of the 10. But my fucking God, the kicking it into the ground, the pop up, the arch. I was like, oh my God, we're actually going to see some shenanigans.
Is there anything sexier than seeing a nice onside kick like that?
No.
As a Saints fan, you know, I have a strong affinity for onside kicks. If you understand, but
yes.
Any other onesie twosies from these games?
I actually disagree with you. I don't think Brock Purdy played well at all. I think 60 of his yards came from a miracle play by Brandon Ayuk, right? And if you take away those 60 yards, he has a typical Brock Purdy game of he threw for one touchdown, one interception, and he has, take away the yards, he has 215 yards.
Yeah, I mean, that you can say that all you want, but he came in the third and fourth quarter and made big time throw after big time throw to get them to move downfield and score. They scored 21 points. They scored 17 points in the third quarter because he was making those throws.
I understand. I didn't say he didn't clutch up. I just said I don't think he had a good game.
Yeah, I mean, playing clutch in the playoffs is a good game.
When does it run out?
He had 60 yards rushing. When the fuck has Brock Purdy had 60 yards rushing?
Yeah.
My guy did what we wanted Lamar Jackson to do.
Jeez, right? Nevada, the Niners were the Ravens. You just wanted the Ravens to play like the Niners.
215 yards passing and 60 rushing yards from Brock Purdy and one touchdown throw and one interception. That sounds like a Lamar Jackson game in like a 20-point blowout for the Ravens. But we see it from Lamar all the time. I'll concede. I do think Brock Purdy could have played better, but I think if you're playing 11-6 football team, you're in the NFC Championship, you're going to get their best shot. So I can concede that maybe he obviously I don't think he played legendary. He didn't go out there and have 303, but from what you want from your quarterback, I think we've also been desensitized because we're so used to 303 in today's football that 215 yards back in the day was really fucking good.
Yeah. And this is to build off Nevada's Chauncey Gardner Johnson Jeremiah Gardner shoes.
Jingleheimer
Schmidt. When, like, you would have figured a Dan Campbell team wouldn't have acted the way they did. And I get there's the drops and then there's the drive stalls.
It was the sideline stuff, though.
You almost, if I told you going into this championship game that a Dan Campbell coach team would be up 24-7 at half, and the 49ers would look like they didn't know their ass from their elbow from a hole in the ground, you would say that game's going to finish 48-14. I never expected to see a Dan Campbell team take off the gas like this. And I think he personally, I think the breakdown was Dan Campbell. I think he started feeling himself probably in that locker room. He didn't give his normal Dan Campbell talk. He didn't give the normal settle down. This game isn't over yet. I think he kind of bought, and it sucks, but I think he might have bought into it, right? We saw it. I know it personally. I saw it with the Carolina Panthers in 2015. Nevada knows the opposite side of it, right? If Carolina comes out and plays their game in that game and doesn't buy into the hype, they destroy the Broncos. And I'm sorry, Nevada, but they bought into their hype, right?
I had the Broncos in that game.
I know you did.
Yeah, well, we'll agree to disagree on that one.
Okay. Von Miller literally destroyed our right tackle in that game, and we lost by 2 scores because of a bullshit score at the end.
You said literally destroyed
our right tackle. I don't even think he's playing in the league anymore because of what Von Miller did to him. We lost by 2 scores because of a shitty score at the end against noodle arm Peyton Manning.
Rumor has it he still hasn't left his house.
Should only have 1 Super Bowl. But
I remember the for 2 weeks I heard that Denver has no shot, and I'm like, what Denver Broncos team are you guys watching?
Right, I'm saying Carolina bought into the hype. Right, we're this great team. We have 10 All Pros. Right, we're gonna dominate. I was counting my money with a Detroit Lions plus 800 bet. Up 24-7 at halftime and dominating. I was like, there is no way that Dan Campbell lets this team take their foot off the gas. I thought this was going to be a 45-14 game.
Kyle Shanahan, did he get the monkey off his back?
No.
He has to win it to get the monkey off his back, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, he has to be able to put together a better first half. Divisional round, awful first half. Conference championship, awful first half. So you go and you make locker room adjustments, sure, right? Their divisional round game, they weren't playing as good of an opponent. If Detroit catches one of the 4 balls that they dropped,
just what? Just what?
Or Dan Campbell kicks a field goal in one of the 2 situations where he could have kicked a field goal, or Dan Campbell doesn't run the foot, like.
There's ways that we're living in a different universe.
Ways that we're like, but it's not like this crazy thing where it's like Detroit could have won. It's like Detroit very easily could have put that game out of reach.
For sure.
Early
yeah,
on.
No, we all definitely agree with that.
So no, I don't think even if Kyle Shanahan wins, he has to show me a Super Bowl in which he dominates both halves.
So just not even winning the Super Bowl will get that man off the hook. No chance. You know how hard it is to win a Super Bowl?
Indeed. I'm a fan of a team that's been there twice and has blown it both times.
I feel like, and he came back from 24-7. Like, so there's no way there's no way he can get the monkey off his back.
I don't think so. I think he got extremely lucky. I think he got extremely lucky in this playoffs to be sitting in this Super Bowl. And I know that's ridiculous to say.
I think he also had a great.
Listen, he gets the monkey. He gets the monkey off his back. He gets the monkey off his back for me. If he's not down by 14 plus points by 10 plus points at halftime.
Okay.
Then I will say, if he's not down by 10 plus points and he wins the Super Bowl, Jermaine, I will sing Kyle Shanahan's praises from the mountaintop.
Okay, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying, because that means Kyle Shanahan beat Patrick Mahomes, and he's your least favorite person. So I figured that would have been enough to get the monkey off his back.
This is just a battle of tight ends that I hate.
George
Kittle with his stringy ass hair. Just cut your hair, you little greaseball.
Hey, fuck you. George Kittle is one of my favorite players. I don't agree.
George Kittle makes millions of dollars, can't even fix those buck teeth of his.
Why? Why?
Real quick.
I don't actually hate George Kittle.
I know. That's why I stopped. But go ahead.
Katie did say, she was like, doesn't he have the most nasty, stringiest hair of all time?
It's because it plays wet though. Like if it's dry, it looks better. He's sweating. What is he supposed to do? Not sweat while playing football?
I play wet on this podcast, to tell you what.
Real quick.
There's only dudes on here, you freak.
Hell yeah. That's how I have to play to get wet.
A little bit of a tease going into next week. Obviously, we'll dive into the Super Bowl matchups, props, all that sort of stuff. But to Nick's point, a little teaser. Kyle Shanahan off of buys. This is from as of 2017. It doesn't have this year for this article, but I'll just run through it real quick. 2017, before bye, 1-9. Post bye, 5-1. 2018, he was 2-8. Pre-bye, after the bye, 2-4. 2019, 3-0. Post bye, 10-3. 2020, 4-6 and 2-4. 2021, 2-3 and 8-4. And then 2022, 4-4 and 9-0.
Damn, after the bye, Kyle Shanahan really turns it on, huh?
It's a little bit of a mixed bag, but overall, yeah, when he turns it on, he turns it on. So they essentially have both teams with a bye week. So we'll see how it goes.
We ran a little long, but we'll end with this: player A versus player B. Through first 6 seasons, player A playoff record 14-3, player B 12-2. AFC titles, player A 4, player B 3, and then Super Bowls 2 for player A and 3 for player B. Who is player A? Who is player B?
Player A is Jim Kelly.
So
100%. 100%. I know it right off the bat. It's Jim Kelly. Player
it's
B
Patrick
is
Mahomes and Brady.
Jim Kelly has won a Super Bowl.
Oh, wait, I thought you said championships. Did you say championships
No,
and Super Bowl?
He said
4
both.
AFC titles and 2 Super Bowls.
Oh, yeah.
It's Mahomes and Brady.
So Mahomes is 14-3 with 4 AFC titles and 2 Super Bowls. Has a shot for a third one. We don't know the outcome yet. Tom Brady was 12-2 with 3 AFC titles and 3 Super Bowls. They both have the NFL. They both have the NFL and the refs in their corners, so it's kind of easy to get there. But that's just showing the Mahomes dominance. I mean, they are in his corner, but Patrick Mahomes is also really, 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 really fucking good at football. Let's make sure that is something that is said on this podcast.
I'm going to argue with you. I think he's only really, really, really good at football.
Not 4 reallys, just 3.
I would only give him 3 reallys.
Just 3 reallys. Just 3 reallys.
I'm going to take one off because he walks like a duck.
Yeah, he's also you hate the Chiefs.
Hey, by the way, if you guys haven't seen it, go look up TikTok. Mahomes has got a little bit of spice to his step. Just take a look. Take a look at it. Just search TikTok Mahomes spicy, right? He's got a little. He's got a little.
Oh,
flair. He's got a little flair.
That's what you meant. I was like, what are you talking about? That's funny as fuck. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Podcast Room303. For the hosts, Jermaine Clo-Mendez, Nicholas Morahan, and the executive producers, Nevada Putnam. Eric will be coming back to the podcast. He just has a prior, what do they call it? Engagement that's keeping him off the air.
He's getting engaged to a man.
To a man. That's the person's name.
It's unwilling for the man.
So we'll see you next time when you come on down and step into the room.